Hey friends, welcome back. And welcome back to another reading vlog. This one is very exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. We will be reading some of the Goodreads Choice Awards nominees for 2024. It is November 26th right now. I have not even looked at the top 10. I figured we could do that together and figure out what I'll be reading for this video. I just finished filming my long reading vlog for the literary fiction section of this award ceremony, and it went really, really well. So I'm really looking forward to the fantasy, and I am seeing some of them already, and I'm nervous. What I had planned to read was An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson, The Fox Life by Yang Shu. What was the other one? Oh, The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. That was one. And then I wouldn't be mad if I read the Robert Jackson Bennett one, because I've been told by everyone that I would like it. Even though it's the first of a series and I'm not trying to start a new series right now, so that's why I wasn't immediately drawn to that one. But as you can see, it is number one. Not that these are in order, but it is first on the list right now. So that one is there. The Lost Story, I love that book. Oh, The Fox Wife is there. Five Broken Blades, another first in the series. I have heard mixed things about it, mostly good things though. Blackbird Oracle, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, The Familiar's there, Empire of the Damned, Map of the Otherworld, and The Book of Doors. Okay, listen, I'm not surprised that Alexis Henderson isn't here, because she has historically, her other two books were horror. So I was surprised that her book was shelved as fantasy this year. Ooh, okay, so this means we have to make a decision. I'm definitely gonna read The Book of Doors, and I'm definitely gonna read The Fox Wife, I think, because those two I had already planned to, and I kind of really want to. I have no desire to read Emily Wilde's, unfortunately. I didn't like the first one. I'm sorry. Empire of the Damned, I haven't read the first one, so I can't read that one. I don't want to read the TJ Klune one. I can't read the Deborah Hart. Like, yeah, it has to be the Tainted Cup. That was a quick decision, huh? I will see you when I start the first one. Hi friends, we have some things to catch up on. So I've been debating just redoing the intro of this video or not, but instead of just restarting, we're just gonna roll with it. I'm just going to be honest. I did pick up The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. I will not be continuing. I can't tell right now if it's a hard DNF or a soft one. I might come back to it in the future, but honestly, anytime I think about doing that, it sounds like a headache. And I'm going to try to not be super bitter, because I don't like conflict, but this book just did not work for me, which is super upsetting because the cover's stunning. The inside end pages are literally to die for. Like, look at this. Are you joking? It's so beautiful. But I made it to like 75 pages or so, and the thought of picking it up again makes me want to scream. Caleb and I started this book together on audio when we were driving up to his parents' house for Thanksgiving. We were both like kind of excited about it, you know? Like, I mean, this isn't something that Caleb would read like on his own, but he will indulge me and like participate. And so I put this one on audio and we started listening to it together. We listened to 50 pages on the way to his parents' house. The amount of times that I had to pause the book so that we could rant together, it was quite a few times, which sucks because again, like not only is it beautiful, but the synopsis sounds pretty interesting. Like, there are these books in this world that have special powers. It gives you special powers. There's a book called The Book of Doors, which if you have like certain standards met, like you can make any door, as long as you're holding the Book of Doors, you can make any door you open go anywhere you want in the world. Very cool. Cut out a plane, you know, you can go to the other side of the world. And then there's this like evil woman that wants to control things. There's these like bad guys, of course. And one of our main characters is Miss Cassie, who works at a New York City bookstore. And one of her patrons dies in front of her. And it's this older guy who's very sweet, and he leaves her the Book of Doors. So she's just sort of thrust into this magic situation. And then there's some guy named Drummond Fox, who's a Scottish librarian who keeps watch over a unique set of rare volumes. And he really wants the Book of Doors. I don't think that he's a bad guy. I'm pretty sure that they get together. Yeah, she has to decide if she'll help the mysterious and haunted Drummond protect the Book of Doors from those who would do it evil. And, you know, again, sounds cool. It's not. It wasn't for me, at least. The thing about it is the writing. I always feel bad critiquing someone's writing when I'm not even sure if I could do any better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just a girl. So take this however you want. I don't know how to say it nicely. I just didn't think the writing was good. There were times where we would be listening to the book for like a couple minutes and I would just be like waiting, like on the edge of my seat, waiting for Gareth to get to the point, or waiting for his thought to wrap up, or how he's describing something to wrap up. And it wasn't like he was explaining things in like a beautiful poetic way and it was just like sort of meandery and getting to the point. It literally felt like he was trying to hit like a word count in an essay sometimes. And I just really hated his particular portrayal of the two women that we're following in the first chapter, like he made them so, I don't know, girly, but in a way that was very much written by a man that maybe has never seen or known what a female friendship can be like. I don't know. It just, oh my God. It just felt very robotic. It didn't feel like a known experience that he was writing about. You know what I'm saying? Plus there was so much like bathroom talk in the, especially in the beginning of the book. Guys, I don't know. I think I might try again in the future before I completely like unhaul this book, but I won't be continuing, and that sucks because this was one that I was really excited about. This was one that I obviously purchased and thought I would really enjoy, but alas, yeah, DNF'd. So I don't really know where this video is going to go. We're just gonna vibe on it, I think. But it is December 1st right now, and I want to have this video out in a couple days, so I'm going to do what I can. Hopefully, next time I see you, I will have started the next book in this video. I think it'll be The Foxwife. I think that's what I'm going to try to read next. That one I'm hesitantly excited about, but I was pretty hesitantly excited about this one too, so I don't know. Let's see how it goes. It's a little bit later the next day. We've been slowly building our home gym in our basement, and we made like the big purchase. We got the bar, we got the plates, and it's like a little playground down there now. I've played sports my entire life, and in high school volleyball, we had like specific weightlifting days, and I love weightlifting. I think it's so fun. So having all of these things in our basement now is sort of like a dream come true. I'm really stoked about it. Obviously, so is Caleb. He's kind of insufferable. But I worked out, did the dishes, cleaned the kitchen a little bit, showered, obviously, with my wet hair, and am now having some pistachios. I would love to have a more substantial snack. I'm just also lazy and don't really know what to do about it. But in the meantime, before I look a little bit harder for a snack, I wanted to let you know that I am pretty close to actually finishing The Foxwife by Yangsze Chu. I've been mostly listening to it on audio because I found it on Libby, and also the author is the narrator, which is super fun. This one is a little bit difficult for me because I love the synopsis, I love the writing, but I do think that the plot and like trajectory is a little bit slow going, which isn't always a problem. But if I'm trying to read a book or a sequence of books in a short period of time for a video like this one, it does obviously help if the plot is a little bit more fast moving, or if it's not, then at least have some like really dynamic characters or themes that I'm really loving exploring. And the story does have some of those things. It has some like Chinese folklore, which I think is really, really interesting. It's called The Foxwife. It is our main character who is a fox, but can also take on a human body. Switching in between the two is like very difficult, so she doesn't do it quite often. But many years ago, her daughter, her cub, was hunted and killed by a hunter. And apparently there was this like famous photographer whose name is Becca. He is who commissioned the hunter to kill this white fox because he wanted it for like photos or something. And so now the hunter's like long gone, you know? And now our main character, the Foxwife, her name is Snow. She's on the hunt for Becca. She's trying to find him. She's an enraged mother on a mission to find Becca and ultimately kill him. And then we're getting another point of view from a detective whose name is Bao. He's investigating the death of an unknown woman. He has this like uncanny ability to sniff out lies. And it also has to do with like the fox folklore stuff that you slowly start to learn. Since he is so interested in the fox spirits, it only makes sense that he is kind of following the scent or the path of our main character, Snow. But there are other characters that are coming into play, making this a little bit more dynamic. There's like a revolution going on. We travel from China to Japan, and I just now kind of feel like things are starting to pick up. I'm on page 259. Again, it's not like I've been bored because I really love Yangsze Chu's writing. Her narration is really good as well, but her writing is just easy to listen to. Very fun, very pretty, but also sort of like, I don't know, straightforward maybe, very accessible. I definitely wanted to come on and give you a little bit of a synopsis, a little bit like how I'm feeling immediately before I sit down and finish it after my pistachio snack. Even though I don't necessarily have a whole lot to say, I like it, but I'm waiting for it to, I don't know, put me on the edge of my seat, so to say. So I'm gonna go finish it after I try to find a better snack, and I wanna make a latte. Whenever I work out, I'm always super tired afterwards, so I need to drink some water and I need some more caffeine, so let's do all of it. hi friends. I just finished The Foxwife by Yangsze Chu. It is now like 9:30 in the evening. I feel good about it. I do still stand by me saying earlier that the plot is pretty slow going. And after finishing it, I looked on Goodreads to see what other people were saying about it because I didn't know if it was like an unpopular thing or maybe like it just wasn't what I was in the mood to read. Maybe I just, you know, right place, right time, right book is totally a thing. But it seems to be the general consensus that a lot of people do agree that the plot is a little bit slow. So that made me feel a little bit better about how I was consuming the story. I do think that if it were a little bit shorter, I probably would have liked it a little bit more because then maybe I wouldn't have gotten so bored or impatient sometimes during the storyline, because I really did like the characters and I do like the writing a lot. I think that the way that Yangsze Chu tied in the Spirit Fox's folklore within the storyline, within her writing, I think was really smart. And I think it was just really beautiful at times. And it was those moments where I was sort of questioning whether our main characters were foxes or real humans or what have you. One sentence in particular that I did a cute one little dog ear that I'll get rid of now. And I'll leave the character's name out of the sentence so that there's absolutely no spoiler of what could be going on. This is such a peculiar conversation that blank wonders if they're running a fever or dreaming. The dimness of the room makes the shapes of the furniture blurry. The hand that holds the wrist is warm, almost like a furry paw, yet everything seems to make sense. And I just love that because we know our main character Snow is a fox, but she is able to take on the form of a human. And in this scene, it's sort of playing with your senses of like, maybe when someone is like in that in-between moment of like almost dying but still alive, maybe they're able to sense that like her touch really does feel like a warm fuzzy paw or something like that. I think that is really cool and I love how it was written. I also loved the scenes where we were in situations where there were more than one fox spirit and we could tell that they were using their influence against the humans, making them more vulnerable or what's the word? Susceptible to their like charms, you know? So the book had a lot of things that I really did like, but I really can't get past the fact that it really did take me all day to read this book. And I think in other situations, I could have read it much faster. Like one day to read a book is still really great, but I do still think I could have read it faster than what I did. I wasn't like rearing to get back to it when I wasn't reading it today. You know what I'm saying? So moral of the story, I liked it, but I definitely do think that it had a more like historical fiction mystery vibe rather than like a classic fantasy vibe. Like obviously it had the folklore elements and things and like I guess some magic, but it was pretty loose, honestly. Like all of the nominees, most of the nominees at least for fantasy this year were pretty lower light fantasy in my opinion. And I was a little bit let down by the category. I don't know if I've said this out loud yet in this video, but this was the category that obviously I love fantasy, but I definitely was taken aback by what was on this list. And that being said, we are going to go into the next book, maybe the last book of this video, because I had planned to do 3 and I don't know if I should count the DNF of Book of Doors or not, but mostly because people have told me that they think that I would like this book. It hasn't necessarily been on my radar too strongly, but I'm listening. I'm listening to you guys. I'm going to be reading The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I have it on Kindle. It was only like $2.99 maybe, so I snatched that up. Right after I finished The Foxwife, like maybe 10 minutes ago, I started to dread reading this book because this definitely had like a detective. It had some sort of mystery going on and I didn't love it. Didn't love every aspect to it at least. And this is like a detective story. So I am a little bit nervous going into it, but I just read the synopsis and it does sound a little bit more like overtly magical. So maybe more fantasy leaning. So I am hesitantly looking forward to it. I know that it has a couple detectives. One of them is sort of like eccentric, can solve a mystery even from their own home. Like they don't have to leave and investigate things. And they have an assistant, but there is a body that was found with a tree trunk like through it or grown from the body or something of the nature. So I'm interested. I do want to know what's going on. I think that there's some sort of mystery between the two characters as well, the two detectives. They're like hiding things from one another. There's layers of intrigue within the synopsis. I'm gonna start it tonight. It's 9:30 right now. I plan on staying up a little bit later. I definitely purposefully drink a coffee later in the day. By later in the day, I mean 4 p.m. because I'm old now. But maybe I can get at least 25 or 50 pages in tonight, maybe more. Who knows? Not me. We're gonna figure it out. I'll be back in the morning with more coffee and hopefully a good chunk done for my first update. So I'll see you then. The menace. Hi, good morning. I did stay up pretty late to read last night and made it to page like 75 or something. And now it's the morning. I'm suddenly at page 100. I'm so glad that I picked this book up. I'm so glad I listened to everyone who has said that I would like it because I really am. I'm really loving this. It's been exciting from the very start. And the shoddy synopsis that I gave you last night, I think is pretty okay. There was a body found with a tree like growing from within him. Can I help you? Sammy wants to say good morning, apparently. He's been being very stinky this morning. Wanting to go in, wanting to go out, forgetting that it's 19 degrees. So then he wants to come right back inside again. Oh, I love you. I know, I'm upset too. I was looking for the correct terminology because I didn't want to say the wrong thing. Our main character, Den, is an engraver. So what that means is, well, first of all, what makes this book sort of fantasy is sort of like, what I'm getting is The Will of the Many by James Islington mixed with Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Because there is like a hierarchy sort of vibe that is making me think of The Will of the Many. And then there is also like alterations that people are making to themselves, sort of like the magic within the Grisha trilogy. And our main character, Den, is an engraver. So how that works is he will walk into, this murder scene, smell this like little jar, and then he goes into this like trance state and he's looking at every single thing and engraving and like memorizing the scene to a T. Everything that he reads, says, looks at, smells, anything, he will be able to remember it perfectly. So he's an engraver for this like inspector, this detective basically. And they find that the situation with this dead body with a tree growing from him is actually much more sinister and much more widespread within the hierarchy than what they had expected. And now they're having to work with some higher ups within the government to try to put it all together, basically. And it's really exciting. The writing is really fun. It seems like our main character, Den, also has dyslexia because whenever he's trying to read anything, he describes it as the words are like dancing around on the page and he has to like really take time to like understand what it says, but also reading things out loud is very, very difficult for him. And I love how that is being handled. This is my first Robert Jackson Bennett, and I am really, really excited to continue. I don't plan on doing much today other than finishing this book. I'm making some breakfast right now, and then I'm just gonna like sit and read this because that's honestly what I want to do. Like, I'm excited to sit down and read this book, which is really exciting and really refreshing. I hope to understand the magic systems a little bit more and the creatures. Apparently there's like giant sloth-like creatures that are able to move big objects for the humans. And then there are these other creatures which are humans. They're called cracklers. It says chaps who have been grafted so they grow so much muscle they need new bones added to their skeletons to support it all. They make odd clicking sounds as they walk about, hence the name. Then there's a bunch of people who are augmented in ways just with like people with large black eyes or enormous curiously pointed ears. I'm excited to get into it and learn even more about that side of the story, but also like it's exciting and I just want to read it. So I'm gonna go do that. I really am just having the most cozy day. Just sitting on the couch, reading my day away. I just ordered some sushi. I've been craving it and I decided what the hell. Treat yourself. So sushi is on the way here. I have made it to page 2 something, 53%, and I'm in it. I really do stand by my association of this book with The Will of the Many. I don't know what it is. I mean, like, our two main characters are, well, one of them. Our female investigator, Anna, I wrote her name down because I forgot it. Anna Delabra. She is the sort of like Sherlock Holmes style character. She's really interesting, and my favorite quote about her was, her reputation for brilliance is matched with her eccentricities. She will like wear a blindfold all the time and like essentially blind herself so that she can sort of like hone in on her other senses. She just has this like uncanny ability to figure out cases and problems and has this like like intuition that is really good. The more I'm reading, the more I'm just falling in love with the writing, the more I'm falling in love with the story itself and these characters. Like when Den is remembering something from his like steel trap up here, you know, the way it's written is stellar. I love it so much. He'll just like almost go into, they described it as like a fishbowl in some capacity when he's like actually taking the memories, but when he's actively like say in a sword fight, and he has never been in a sword fight, but he has had training in sword fighting, he'll like remember all of his instructions and then be able to perfectly fight and kill people basically. Same with lock picking. Like it's so fun. It is such a fun story with great characters. Definitely has a lot of like what's really going on with the grand scheme of the mystery, because it's not all what it seems. There are people acting a little bit fishy within the investigation team. So we're thinking that there's like an inside job in some way, you know? And I know that this is a duology. And I know we might not get the entirety of it figured out with this book, which is a little bit upsetting, but I feel like it's safe to say that I will want to continue in the series. I love this writing. I love it a lot. Very excited to just continue to sit here and read more. My food is almost here. I'm gonna just, you know, keep these good vibes going. I don't know what's happening here, and I don't frankly care either. I finished The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, and I'm so excited. I'm so happy about it. I'm really excited to read all of his other books because I just adored his writing. It was intense, it was whimsical, it was funny, it was sweet, it was insightful, it was all those things. I really loved this little mashup of genres too, because it's like a fun little whodunit mystery in this world that has magical creatures, the ability for like mutations and augmentations of like people, also set in a world that is fantasy, you know, like this is not a known place. And I mean, I sat here today and read like 300 pages. I am a little bit like fatigued in my mind because I feel like I've read a lot the last 2 days, but I feel good about it. I don't feel like I forced myself. Like I really wanted to read. I really wanted to get to the end of the book. The reveals were fun. I really, really loved our two main characters, particularly the little bit of romance that was involved, particularly towards the end. Loved it. Loved it. I also just think that I'm slowly becoming a Kindle girly. Like I didn't realize how much I was actually reading and how comfortable it was to actually just hold a Kindle instead of breaking my thumbs over this big book. I mean, it's only 400 pages. It's not that big, but still, that was comfy. That was nice. Yeah. I don't know. Like, is it 5 stars? I don't know. I feel inclined to just like slap a 4.5 stars on it. I feel great. Also, I don't remember if I told you my star rating for The Foxwife yesterday, but I think I've decided on a 3.5. We don't need to rehash, but I can't remember if I actually told you that or not. So now I have told you. The last thing I wanted to do was kind of go through the other nominees of this category that I have read and just give you a couple thoughts on like whether I would recommend them or not. The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer was a nominee and is actually what I voted for. I freaking love The Lost Story. It is very fairy tale, very Narnia-esque. I love it even more than her other book. It also has this magical mystery. It has distant lands that are unknown to us. It has love, friendship, found family, and it's just so whimsical. It's so exciting. It had so many plot twists in the last like 50 pages. And it's just one of those books that I think about and I just immediately go back to my happy place. It's such a good book. You should definitely read it. Five Broken Blades by May Corland. I have not read, but I do own it. The Blackbird Oracle by Deborah Harkness. I'm showing you these because I don't want to put them up on the screen. I have not read. It is book 5 in a series, and I have not read any of the other 4, so couldn't really vote on that one. There's the TJ Klune Somewhere Beyond the Sea. Also is number 2 in a series. I haven't read the first one. Oh, I forgot this one was on here. That's so unfortunate. There's The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I did not like this book. I think that the idea of it was phenomenal. I do like most of Leigh's writing, but I think that the execution was just a little bit confusing, a little bit misleading, and this book was so slow. I just didn't care. I just found it hard to care. It was one of my book club picks, and we all had a time reading it. So I personally, like, yeah, if it sounds interesting, definitely give it a shot. I know there are definitely people out there that enjoy the book, but I have also heard a lot of negative things too. So do with that what you will. The other one is Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff. I haven't even read the first one. This is book 2 that's nominated. And then I feel bad. I feel bad about this, but there's Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands, I think, is that it? Yeah. Book 2 in the Emily Wilde series. The first one is Encyclopedia of Fairies or something. I didn't like that one either. So I didn't really want to pick up the second book. It's not that it was bad. On a different tone than The Familiar. Like, The Familiar, I think, has definitely a more like darker, sinister kind of vibe. Emily Wilde's was almost too sweet and I don't know about wholesome. Maybe like wholesome cottagecore-y. I don't know. Like, I know people love it and that's totally valid. I just didn't. So I didn't want to read the second one. And then we all know that I DNF'd the Book of Doors in this very video. Yeah, so realistically, I wouldn't have really wanted to read any other book for this video other than Five Broken Blades. I would have read that one. I simply don't have time for that. I am so glad that I chose The Tainted Cup over Five Broken Blades. I think that this was the safer option for me personally right now. And I'm super happy about it. This video had everything. It had a DNF, it had a pretty okay book, and then it had a phenomenal book. I'll take what I can get. Let me know down below what you voted for this category or what book you think should have been in this category. But if you don't know what else to say, then leave me the tree emoji down below in the comments. And while you're down there, please do subscribe and like the video. I always appreciate your support. And of course, be kind to one another and happy reading. Bye.